Hey, what's up guys, Jan Levitrius coming to you with the part 6 of the Scandinavian Empire, playing as Sweden in this playthrough. In our last video you saw the counterattack from Algeria and the African coalition from Kenya, Mozambique, and Nigeria. And since then we have retaken Europe. You can see it's all gold and it's all ours. And we've counterattacked the African coalition and basically destroyed them, and now all of Africa is in ruin. A lot of different colors here, you can tell it's a lot of mayhem going on. A lot of other coalitions came into the fight as well, took the advantage to take more land. So I'm going to get into what happened exactly with the African coalition and how we did it. If you're in a similar situation, you can kind of maybe follow the strategy. And then I'm going to talk about some of the other coalitions and what's on our horizon as a coalition and what we have to strategize for. If you watched the last video, you know that Algeria was pushing us back into Europe, and since then we actually had pushed them out. Romania, an ally of mine, helped me to counterattack and push him out. I used a lot of my ground forces as support and artillery. Some of my stacks, they're all gone except for there's one stack right here. Give you kind of a layout of what I use. That is the anti-tank or the tank destroyer, SAM launcher, mobile radar, and the mechanized infantry. My support unit, which was the mobile artillery, is sitting here in the city, but I use the mobile artillery. That is mainly the stack. I had a few of them spread out, aiding Romania in taking back this land. I would bombard things and fight units while he was using his motorized infantry to recapture land. In the same event, he was using his helicopters, which are stationed around here. You can see he has high-level attack helicopters. He's even got a rotary wing officer as well, level 3. So he used a lot of his air units to do airstrikes, killing Algeria's stacks, which were very high level. He had high level infantry, motorized infantry, tanks, SAM launchers, no artillery surprisingly, which did help us out. The last city was right here. This is what he used as his last city. It became his capital, and I retook that. After we pushed him out of Europe, took a few cities here. You can see these blue ones are mine. Then we crossed the Mediterranean into these coastal cities. I took these two coastal ones here. I sat on them for long enough. He did attack me, and I just repelled them with naval units at the beaches, and then also my artillery repelling him away, and just killed them as they came towards my stacks. There was some combat that my units did engage in, and I put them in the city for health reasons to get their health back up from the hospital. But after it was safe enough, I started moving forward. You can see somewhat of an outline of what I did. I moved ever so slightly to Constantine, took that city, and then waited for a little bit for the city's morale to go up, and then bombarded this city with my artillery, and then just had two units in these two provinces, or two stacks in these provinces, just fighting them off as he threw his last forces at me, and then we took in the city and just basically walked in. At the same time, Norway landed in West Africa, across the Sahara Desert. Down here, you can see one of his stacks down here, which is just level 3 tank destroyer and some motorized infantry. He had some air forces, which he's pretty strong in. He's got high-level strike fighters and high-level attack helicopters helping us out. Even some mercenaries coming in. So he kept Algeria busy in this western front as I came down in the north, and then we had Romania, who's the gold here, coming in, landing in Benghazi, and coming across as well. So it was just a multiple front war that Algeria could not handle, and eventually, he did cave, and we took all of his land. Doesn't look very organized, but we did take him out. Now, while that was happening, I had a massive naval battle right here where this corvette is. I had stacks like this, which was a high-level destroyer and high-level frigates, along with low-level corvettes, fighting in this very spot because there's a canal that goes straight through here south of Denmark, and you could go right into some of my naval bases here. I had to stop Kenya and Algeria and destroyed a lot of stacks, including aircraft carriers, cruisers, destroyers, and frigates. I just kept sending as many destroyers and frigates at him as I could, split them in smaller stacks so he couldn't really destroy one stack altogether. And the one advantage I had is I had higher level destroyers than him and high level frigates, where he had very low level ships. Even though he had more than me, they were all very low level, which worked out in my favor. So after that naval battle succeeded of destroying Kenya and Algeria's naval forces, we knew that we basically had naval superiority. We destroyed so many ships, and we just came in and sailed across the Mediterranean Sea, and you can see all this land that we had invaded. We went in and took out Ethiopia pretty easily. Finland had come in here. He is the blue, and I gave some naval support here. My ships are already out of the area. They're over here in the Spanish area down over here, but they were providing support in Alexandria and in Cairo, taking out units and then giving some anti-air support as Ethiopia would send some planes or even helicopters to try to take out those units. But we were successful in moving down. As you can see, the whole area is ours. I just gave naval support as Romania just walked in here and took out Ethiopia's lands, and I bombarded Djibouti here and also came into Mogadishu as support to him, and I acted as the naval support for what they needed. And then we have Kenya, Mozambique, and Nigeria who were left, which we did not actually go down this south. This is a mixture of New Zealand, the South American coalition, which is Colombia, Argentina, and Mexico. Mexico had taken a lot here, Colombia here, and Mali and Ghana. So there's a lot of mixed mash right here, but it's safe to say that the African coalition is no more, completely wiped out. So that threat is gone, but now we're on to a new threat. And that new threat is the South American or the American coalition, or what we're just going to call it, and that consists of Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina. Now, we had worked with them to take out the African coalition. Now it's turned into the time where we got to face them and fight them to win this game, and they're a very strong coalition, perhaps even stronger than the African coalition. We've seen in our intel that they have just a lot of high-level units. You can see here Argentina has researched quite a bit in Navy. He has high-level ground units. You can see he's got high-level special forces and high-level strike fighters. And we know this is somewhat of the case of Mexico. He has aircraft carriers and other things and ballistic missile subs, so it's not an enemy to be taken lightly. It's going to take a while to cross the Atlantic and do this safely. So our strategy for now is for Norway and I to attack the North American continent together. And that's mainly going to consist of the Norwegian Marines, who are some of them are stationed in Iceland, and there's others that still have yet to fly over, but to sail across the northern Atlantic Ocean and land in cities such as New York, Halifax, DC, establish bases there, build airports so we can fly forces safely, and then come across and attack into the heart of North America, into the United States. We know one city is annexed here, and that is Chicago, so that is one city that we're going to have to take out. It's possible that Mexico has naval forces here with a level 2 naval base. You can't build a lot, but you can have corvettes and frigates and even a naval officer here, and it's possible that he could be building some forces and sailing in here through the St. Lawrence River, past Montreal, past Quebec, and having something around here or something guarding a city. So it's something we have to be wary of, but that's mainly why we need to take him out. Now, as Norway does that strategy, which also may consist of attacking Mexicali, and that would mean going all the way north of the Canadian country and then past Alaska through the Bering Strait all the way down. It's a long way, but for a surprise attack into Mexicali or perhaps LA. And the reason why we do that is to have multiple fronts and cause some chaos on Mexico's end. For me, I'm going to have the main attacking force to go through the heart of Mexico, and I'll show you one of my stacks that I'm getting prepared, and that consists of tank destroyers, mobile artillery, SAM launchers, mobile anti-air vehicle, because it's possibly his helicopters, and then my mechanized infantry. That's going to be the stack that I'm going to use to drive through Mexico. Of course, I'm building more than those forces. I have some forces already being ferried to Iceland. You can see here's a stack that is transporting from Stockholm, the capital, 5 mechanized infantry, another additional mobile artillery, and another tank destroyer. Probably going to need to keep ferrying more troops, but I'm using Iceland as my staging ground to have all my stacks together and then also gather naval forces. I have one naval stack here as a just a front one, smaller stack with 2 destroyers and a frigate. I'm going to eventually start sailing more and more ships across and then into the Gulf of Mexico, and then land on Veracruz and straight into the Mexico City capital. Now, as I do that, Romania, who's a very strong player in our coalition. He has more naval forces that are moving. He's got level 4 cruisers, which are very, very strong and can be supportive in our effort. He's going to use his air forces as a support for us, as he has many air forces. I will click on another stack here. 11 air superiority fighters, 20 attack helicopters, and then he's got captains as well. And he has a lot of naval patrol planes additionally. So we're going to try to utilize his air force once we get airports ready for him to fly over and give me support there. So it's going to be a massive war. We know that Colombia and Argentina are also preparing. It's possible that this operation is going to fail, but we have to attack because we know that they have nukes. When you're this late in the game, day 37, you have to be thinking about your enemies and them having nukes. So a lot of us have already started building THAADs. I have a THAAD in almost every city at this point. Here's the European ones. I have one there, one here, one in my capital, one down here, one of my main naval bases. You can see Finland, he has his own THAADs as well. And we're just being prepared for any missiles to come in, maybe from here, from a ballistic missile sub, and crash right into our cities. They're already doing spies on us as well. I've had some sabotage going on, so I've added spies. Make sure you guys are always doing that. You can see here I have a few spies spread out in my lands. I probably need to add more, but I have 2 in my capital. Now let's switch gears and look at the Asian coalition. Kazakhstan was an ally of ours, but he actually did end up attacking our ally Finland, so Finland did have to go on the offensive and do a full-out ground war on him. You can see these massive swaths of forces that have just flooded into the area, taken Kazakhstan, taken Afghanistan, and moving into Central Asia even more. So he is preparing actually to go on and fight Mongolia on the eastern front of our coalition. Mongolia had declared war, and he's having to fight him. So for Finland, he will be tasked with taking out Mongolia in the western front, and that leaves Japan and New Zealand left in the Asian coalition, who are some weaker nations, but they're not to be taken lightly, as we know that New Zealand came in and took all of Kenya very easily, and Kenya was a strong player. Other than Japan and New Zealand, we also have India, who's gone AI, so it's not something that we have to worry about right at this moment, but it is something that we're going to think about for Finland. But we're basically tasked with him just staying busy in the Western Front, dealing with the Asian coalition by himself, while Romania, Norway, and I take care of the American coalition to our west. In terms of research, I will show you guys where we're at today on day 37. So right now I am researching the survivability refit, and that is for the level 5 destroyer. Then I'm also researching the basic commando, which is something that I'm going to test out in this game. Never had the elite special forces. I'm going to use the commando and maybe some of my special forces as a scout and do some recon on the American coalition that's going to be on Mexico. I may use the commando to land here somewhere in the eastern part of America, or even up in here in Canada where it's something very unexpected. Come straight down here into Mexico and the homeland and do some scouting, and try not to fight anyone. Just use him to look around and give me some eyes on this nation. So it's going to be something interesting to use the commando and the basic SAS. Once I have both of those mobilized, I'm going to use those, and excited to show you guys the combination there and see what use cases we can get out of that. Now let's look at the infantry tree with what I have. I have the level 5 mechanized infantry, which I probably need to get a little bit stronger, maybe into the max level for the end of this game. For the armored vehicles, I have the tank destroyer at level 4, which is perfect, so now I can use the airlift ability. Support, I have the mobile artillery at level 4, which gives me the airlift, which is crucial. SAM launcher, level 3, need to do one more to do the airlift. And then I have the THAADs at level 1 and mobile radar at level 1. I have the ASW helicopters at level 1, which I utilized in my battle against Kenya and Algeria's navy, and I've just kept them right here patrolling the North Sea, because this is definitely an area where if surface vessels are to come in from the American coalition, they're to come straight through here, so I'm just placing them here. Even if there's subs, that would be very good for me to know. For fixed wing, I haven't touched this in a long time, but I still have the strike fighter at level 2. I have the heavy bomber at level 1, Corvette level 2, frigate at level 5, and then of course I already talked about this, destroyer at level 5. No subs, no missiles, no officers, and then I'm currently researching the level 1 commando, basic commando of course. So that's basically it, guys. A lot is going on now. Sorry I missed the recording to attack and take out all of the African coalition. Hope to show you some more action with the American battle that we're going to have, and maybe perhaps some action with the Asian coalition. A lot could happen from this video to the next one. Hope you guys are enjoying the series, and thank you for the support. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.